And we'll move next to the Zoom commenters who wish to offer public comment. And we'll start with Adedale.
Good morning, everyone. I want to talk about the permits to close the street closures. I want to thank you because I know we've made progress that now the special event permits are only from Thursday through Monday and they have to clear the street in between, but there's still a loophole. They can still get 52 of those permits a year. There's the reason why there's no loophole, closed is because nobody else is crazy enough to request so many street closures, so there was no need for it. But there is a need for it now because we see the Church of Scientology is abusing that system. And so I am asking if you could please reduce it. I would say a maximum of 12 per year. That is plenty. Having your the entire street closed for once a month is way more than anyone should have to tolerate, but at least that's a good starting point. So I'm asking you to please intervene and whatever process it needs to do to please put some more restrictions. The little restrictions aren't enough.
Thank you. We'll move next to Gigi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm here to talk about the planners that are on Fountain and LRH. And there's been several individuals who have come to these meetings for several months and expressed their feelings about the planners and also pointed out the ADA noncompliance with the planners. It's been several months and small steps have been taken, but there's nothing that's done about them. They still remain there. They should be gone. Other businesses had planners and they had to remove them, and it did not take this long. They're getting special treatment because they are Scientology. That's the bottom line. And that's not right. Please get rid of these planners. Thank you. I yield my time.
And we'll move next to Yvonne.
Thank you. The organization identified as Scientology and its many fronts names wants to suggest that identifying themselves as a church or a religion qualifies them for special status, eliminating the need to be obedient to civil laws and municipal codes. This simply is not true. This board and many other agencies in the city of Los Angeles have been subjugated themselves to this organization. The planters were placed without permits, obstruct free use of the easements. They violate both civil laws and municipal codes in their number and placement. In addition, the offending planters were placed in front of property not owned by Scientology. Planters in front of Kaiser property on L. Ron Hubbard Way and the adjacent home are equivalent to illegal dumping. Planters on Fountain in front of homes and businesses not owned by Scientology also are dumping.
Thank
Scientology.
You. We'll move next to Mo, followed by Christine. Go ahead, Mo.
Good morning, Mr. Knight and commissioners. Thank you. This is me again, Mona. First off, I would like to talk about the planters, the permits, and the parking enforcement on L. Ron Hubbard Way, Fountain, and Catalina for the rose bushes. That they are city, state, and federal violations, and that they are hiding what's truly happening. And it really is a civil rights matter for the First Amendment rights, that the Supreme Court has decided that neither the religious or the personal First Amendment speech of those that are taking that First Amendment right, neither is more important than the other. And having bias for one is a discrimination. So thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you, Mo. And I apologize. We'll move next to Miriam.
Hi, I'm again here regarding the baby caskets. I actually did an additional audit and I found out there was 257 baby caskets on Sunset and L. Ron Hubbard Way. 4 of them were removed. I don't know if they've been pushed from your side or if there has been mortalities, because Scientology is known for being enforcing forced abortions to their Sea Org members. So I really hope that's not the case. However, doing this type of open criminality, I really hope that's not the case. And it's just that they are starting to listen to your instructions of removing them. But I would like them to be a little bit faster with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move next to Jill.
Again, please get a truck this afternoon, bring it to L. Ron Hubbard Way, and all you have to do is lift them up and put them in the dumpster, and you'll be done with it, and you won't have to deal with us on this issue. Secondly, presidents have term limits. Entities should have permit limits. So I'm going along the thread of Audit LA's suggestion. You need to have permit limits and no street vacation, because once they do that, you'll have a Vatican City within LA, and it's a disgrace. Nobody owns your city. No one has to have their own private little city with their own theocracy under the guise of being, it's actually an MLM trafficking scam that you're being duped by. Your kids are laughing at you that you're allowing this to go on. Go home and talk about this at your dinner table. Bye.
We'll move next to Haggis, followed by Kamala.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Again, the planters, they are a symbol of child sexual abuse that is happening in Scientology. Scientology is an organized criminal business. They run a real estate scam, and they are using your city in order to hire people into slave labor under the guise of R1 visas. I hope that if you have ICE working with the police department to get people out of the city that are illegal, that you go to the blue building of Scientology and all their hotels where they're abusing the children. No more kids in Scientology. You guys have to do something. You can approve $50 million projects across your city, but you cannot remove planters and investigate child sexual abuse by a cult. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
And we'll move next to William Delvac. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is William Delvac's Awful Life Choices. And I'm just here to let you know that William Delvac and Daniel Reardon, that's bar license 115823 and 328654, are trying to unjustly vacate a public street, which is absolutely bogus. On top of that, you know very well that 56.11 specifically states the enforcement on abandoned property on the public right of way. It's $2,500 a day for each day of the violation, and each charge is a separate new charge in and of itself. So if you backdate it from what I see as of June the 2nd, 2024, up until now, that's at least close to $1 million of revenue that you guys are missing out on. So go ahead and find Scientology, all right? And these guys are two Scientology simps. They're trying to vacate a public street just so they can have a private Goombaya and bogus street fair. It's not their street. L. Ron Hubbard Way is a public street. And these guys are two of the lobbyists. And they're trying to unjustly do
1 minute. We'll move next and finally to Nis.
It's Nisa. And okay, now not only you didn't get those planters removed, but I noticed that that blue building has no accessibilities to people with disabilities at all. And you guys should force them to actually get them to place those accessibilities to the building. It's law in all 50 states. I'll yield back the rest of my time.
And that concludes the 10-minute block and also concludes public comment this morning, President Corson.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. With that, we'll move on to the multiple agenda items public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda
And
item.
we'll move next to Audit LA.
Yes, hi. I would like to agree 100% with the gentleman that just spoke and wish I was in person because I would like to talk to him at one time. But let me go to item one, the ones with the contracts. I know I get people kind of roll their eyes when I say you have to watch out for organizations that use slave labor, but it is a thing, and it is a thing in America, and it's getting more. People are getting more aware of it within the legal system. That you can hire a company to do to do its job. You give them all this money, but then the people doing the actual work are getting paid slave wages. That exists. It exists with the Church of Scientology. Like if you were hiring, like if it was not this company, and say, it was the Church of Scientology, they would get all the money, but their workers get $47 a week, okay, for 110 hours of work. So that is not just a Scientology thing. It is Scientology, but it's also other companies, so that people have to get this on their radar. It is going on. They are starting to find this out through the DOJ and everything. Okay, when it comes to the medians, I absolutely want the medians for you guys to do landscaping and all that. But at the same time, we've been coming here since June. We're struggling with, what medians and encroachments and stuff and easements. Okay, it has to be maintained properly. I'm concerned that, like say if that median, I don't know who's on that property or who, because sometimes like Scientology, they will adopt a median. They adopted one in North Hollywood. They promised to take care of it, endless contract, so they have their name attached to it, but you know what? It's a mess. It's not taken care of. So what about follow-up? Are you going to follow up and make sure that this stuff is maintained, even by if people promise to maintain it? I see a nice $9 million increase. I'm glad it's dealing with water, but I've been saying this for a long time. What's going on with the water? I'm glad to see that you guys are working hard to fix our water issues. So I thank you for that. To me, it's a failure from previous commissions that that this stuff should have been taken care of already. For the last issue, I am glad to see that you are removing this. I like how like I see that you're removing this contract because you're thinking, oh, we can do better. We can, how to save money, and that's what I want to see more of. I want to see more of you guys being more analytical in what comes before you rather than just rubber stamping whatever so you're someone under so somebody's starting to think about this, and that's what I'm asking you to do, to put more pressure on the agencies underneath that you govern and ask them to be more critical and how to save money, make sure they're looking for all the legal things. Like I said, no slave labor, no abuses, and just be more vigilant. So I appreciate you for doing that. And also, like I said, that other guy, I agree with him
Few minutes.
100%.
And we'll move next to Yvonne. Go ahead.
Thank you. I got dropped off again and fortunately reconnected.
I can hear you.
I'm sorry. My point I want to make in general is that what you're being presented to vote on today does not include enough information to make a well-informed decision. Number two, the sidewalk issue. Yes, that would be a wonderful thing to have, but there is no plan of how to implement, whether it's going to be one by one or block by block or city division or citywide. This is just a plan and it's so expensive. We need to do things more immediate, like the 100 that are in downtown, as were mentioned, and other places that are just impassable. These need to be done now, not sometime off in the future, at an undetermined date. The Hawaiian garden, the Japanese garden water project, I approve of it being scaled back, and my only complaint about that particular item is that using the FDA's requirements for the use of pesticides and herbicides is not good enough. The Japanese gardens require a very balanced environment, and there is absolutely no reason to have additional pesticides and herbicides going into that area. What comes through the sewer treatment plant is already a burden enough on the plants and wildlife and the clams and all of the components of that system. I hope in the future that the United States will be interested in regaining some of its good international relationships, and that you coordinate with the Embassy of Japan and maybe a Cal Poly Pomona student to enhance that system of the water gardens. It's a very important feature, and yes, it is educational and create more and more water recovery systems like that, even in your landscaping in your gardens and homes and apartment complexes. That's all I'm going to talk about today. You're going to run out of time on me. Thank you, and please ask deeper questions. I appreciate you.
That's 3 minutes. Thank you. And that, President Corson, that concludes multiple agenda item commentary this morning.